In my previous video, I documented events that took place at the AD Harvey protest in November last year and showed footage from the attending police officers' body-worn cameras to illustrate just how corrupt and criminal their approach and conduct was. I'll link that video in the description for anyone who hasn't seen it, as it does provide important context for this one, which will be focused on the arrests that were made. I've already posted the footage of Chris's arrest and the absolutely outrageous circumstances, and will also link that in the description. I've decided not to post the footage of Chantel's arrest as she was at her car when it took place, and blocking her number plate out requires editing skills that I do not possess as someone who's severely technologically challenged. Chantel was arrested for public nuisance at around 10:15 a.m. and further arrested whilst in custody at 2 p.m. for conspiracy to cause public nuisance. These were both replaced with aggravated trespass when she was charged. At the time of her arrest, Chantel was actually leaving the protest, hence she was at her car. There were no grounds to arrest her and no necessity. The police were really sly and underhand in waiting until she was alone to bag her, trying to avoid the accountability of other activists and their cameras, which the police are terrified of. Chantel immediately complied with the unlawful arrest, yet was still handcuffed without any justification for the use of force, which officers are supposed to provide. I was arrested on a totally fabricated breach of bail. At the time, I was subject to outrageous and unconstitutional bail conditions attached to a malicious and equally fabricated charge of police witness intimidation, for which I've since been acquitted by unanimous jury verdict and intend to sue for. The conditions stated that I couldn't film the police or encourage anyone else to do so. I felt really unwell on the morning of the protest and was due to be caring for my friend's dog Lily later in the day, so was set on not doing anything that could put me in breach of bail or otherwise see me arrested. To that end, I gave my phone to Chris, ironically thinking he would be the least likely person in attendance to get arrested, and that if I didn't even have a phone on me, the filth couldn't possibly accuse me of filming them. At one point during the protest, Chris tried to live stream but couldn't, so for some reason he asked me, the most technologically incompetent person on the planet, to see what the issue was. I had a look, told him I wasn't sure but maybe the signal is bad, and handed the phone back to him. This, along with the fact that Chris was seen filming both me and the police, was used as grounds for arrest on breach of bail. This was so obviously unlawful and malicious because 1, telling someone they don't have signal isn't encouraging them to film the police, and that really should go without saying. 2, live streaming the police is not filming the police, and my bail condition said nothing about live streaming. 3, Chris already had the intention to live stream before I told him that he has no signal. And 4, the police shouldn't be abusing the purpose of bail conditions to prevent me from recording their misconduct in the first place. My arrest was executed by PC 2585 Megan Tiplady at the behest of senior officers. I believe they chose Tiplady to do their dirty work because she's young and inexperienced, and they knew she would do it without question. And of course she did, evidently, as you'll see in the footage, without having a clue why I was being arrested or what for. Tiplady has all the character and personality of a brick. Insipid and anodyne, she would be harmless in any other situation, but in the role of constable, someone as thick and malleable as her is a danger to the public. She probably hasn't even cottoned on to the fact that her supervising officers have used her as a patsy, knowing I'll sue and that she'll be the one facing a complaint and months, maybe even years, of having to explain herself during the litigation process. Knowing that she had none, I was hell-bent on getting Tiplady to state the grounds of arrest there and then so they couldn't just work something out later, but she failed to provide anything at all to justify the arrest. It's mind-blowing that these soulless droids have no comprehension of how serious an act it is to use violence to take away somebody's liberty and lock them up. They have no ability to put themselves in that position and recognise the gravity of it. But unfortunately for Norfolk Constabulary, their dirty tactics of arrest now and work something out later backfired, as it was Tiplady's failure to give the grounds for arrest that caused magistrates to later find it unlawful. My detention at Wymondham Pick was authorised by Custody Sergeant 691 Middleton Keane, who failed to uphold his duty to ensure it was lawful. At around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was further arrested by Tiplady for conspiracy to cause public nuisance and resist PC. At some point I was interviewed, and whilst I was sat there covered in huge black bruises sustained during the violent arrest, Interviewing officers had the audacity to show me a photo of a tiny skin graze allegedly incurred by PC 2242 Isabel Carroll when she assisted with my assault, kidnap and false imprisonment. The next morning, I was transported to Norwich Magistrates Court to answer for the alleged breach of bail, and this has to be the most openly corrupt court hearing I've ever endured. Incompetent as ever, the police picked me up way later than they should have to get me to court on time, and luck seemed to be on my side as we hit traffic and just about every single red light on the way, whilst the custody clock was ticking. When we arrived at the court grounds, the police waited to go into the Crown Court secure car park as opposed to the one for the Magistrates Court, and of course I wasn't going to correct them as they wasted another 10 to 15 minutes. By the time they placed me in the court cell, they had about 10 minutes to arrange a brief with my barrister, get me up to the courtroom and hear the case, which of course is just impossible. By 10:10, I'd been detained for 24 hours, the custody clock had run out, and they had a legal duty to release me. But I was told by Serco guards, who actually appeared rather shocked, that the court wanted to proceed regardless of the illegality of doing so. I was absolutely incredulous and refused to go up to the courtroom, repeating that this was totally unlawful. I hadn't even had a chance to speak with my lawyer or get any proper legal advice, but I was told that the magistrates had stated that if I refused to attend, they would proceed in my absence. So I went up to the courtroom with my barrister Maria appearing via CVP. She made representations about the 24-hour custody limit, but was constantly interrupted by what I fully believed to be a corrupt legal advisor with vested interests, who had a dogged determination for the hearing to continue. The three magistrates left me with no doubt that they too are thoroughly bent. They proceeded with the hearing with no regard for the law and, unbelievably, found me to be in breach of bail, despite the fact the only evidence that the prosecutor put forwards was apparently some officers saw her with a man who was filming the police, and at one point he passed her his phone. I was rebailed, if I remember correctly, with the same conditions and sought to appeal the ruling, but due to the many pitfalls of legal aid and the insanely strict time limit for appealing, this fell through. Given the atmosphere in court, the obvious collusion between the legal advisor, CPS and magistrates, and because of the astonishingly unjust ruling, I will ensure this is addressed when the systemic injustice and persecution I've been subjected to is finally investigated overarchingly. On the 16th of September, I was tried at Great Yarmouth Magistrates Court for the Resist PC charge. The prosecution witnesses included PCs 2585 Megan Tiplady, 2524 Rachel Wall and 2242 Isabel Carroll. Their MG11 statements, written in true police officer style with a shockingly slender grasp on spelling and grammar, contained lies and subjectivity in abundance. Tiplady claimed as fact that I'd been seen instructing Chris to film, yet there was no evidence of this because it simply didn't happen. She also claimed that I was warned about doing so during the protests, which again didn't happen, at least to the best of my memory, and I do think that's something that I would remember. She stated that she provided the grounds for arrest, which the footage I'll play shortly proves is a lie. She also claimed that I was aggressive during the arrest, which again is untrue. Whilst I made it a bit of a struggle for them, the only aggressive ones were the police officers who twisted my limbs and kicked and shoved me into the van. More projection from a stupid bint who can't recognise that the only foul behaviour was that of her and her mindless Nazi colleagues who violated my most basic rights in pursuit of their obsessive vendetta against me and desire to protect animal-abusing scum. In her closing paragraph, she again references my so-called foul behaviour, stating, "I do not appreciate this type of injury being sustained on duty due to a detainee wishing to resist arrest and attempt to avoid the consequences of her foul behaviour." Well, the behaviour I was arrested for was telling someone that they have no signal on their phone. How demented must she be to consider that foul? It's just bizarre. According to her statement, Carol didn't even arrive at the scene until 10 a.m, so whatever behaviour she's labelling as foul, she didn't even witness. Needless to say, this was yet another total fit-up, but the three thick-as-shit coppers did a terrible job on the stand, and I was rightly acquitted of Resist PC. Prosecutor Mark Jackson, to his credit, presented the case as fairly as possible and appeared not to want me to be found guilty, because he knew I wasn't. He's prosecuted me on a number of occasions, with several that he discontinued, seeking instead non-convictional solutions. Although I don't agree with what he does for a living, I do believe he has far more integrity than the average prosecutor, And at the conclusion of the resist case, he told my barrister that from now on, he will refuse to prosecute me as he's aware that I'm being unlawfully targeted and harassed. I believe Jackson has a moral and probably a legal duty to report the consistent abuse of power and process by Norfolk Constabulary and the CPS, but I don't see him putting his head above the parapet any further than he already has. With Chris, Chantel, Amelia and I all eventually being charged with aggravated trespass, we stood trial on the 9th, 12th and 13th of December at Great Yarmouth Magistrates and Norwich Magistrates. I can't remember the name of the prosecutor, again one who's prosecuted me before, but it's something like Quelch or Squelch. He's a strange man and not very good at his job, often receiving valid criticism from presiding judge Matthew Bone. Squelch, as I'll call him, on at least one occasion made reference to my so-called bad character, as did prosecution witness PC Rachel Wall, despite the judge refusing his application to adduce my previous convictions. The whole case was a mess, with a litany of errors from the prosecution and lies from police witnesses and Tom Harvey. The prosecution couldn't even prove that Amelia had been on private land, never mind committed aggravated trespass. Amelia was self-repping and Judge Bones suggested she make a half-time submission of no case to answer, which was promptly accepted without contest from floundering Squelch. The remaining three of us were found not guilty of the offence of aggravated trespass, with Judge Bone remarking during his verdict that he couldn't understand why any of us were arrested.
So what's she supposed to breach then?
I need some help. No, I need to breach. What are the crowds being around?
We need keys for our animals are going to suffer. We get the keys.
What are you not telling me what the grounds for the arrest are? You can't just arrest me and not tell me what I've got.
Illegal arrest.
What are the fucking grounds for the arrest? I'm asking you repeatedly what the grounds for the illegal arrest. I'm not asking questions. Tell me what the grounds for this arrest are.
Who is the arresting officer?
You're not telling me the fucking grounds for arrest. You can't do that. I'm asking you what are the grounds, what is your reasonable suspicion and what is your evidence? No, I'm asking you now. Are you refusing to tell me why you're arresting me? That makes it unlawful. That makes it unlawful. Who is you? Why have you arrested me? What is your reasonable suspicion? What crime have I committed? No, you haven't answered my question. It's all on camera. You've not answered. But what is the ground? What is your evidence? What is your evidence? People are here filming of their own volition. It's a protest, for God's sake. It's a protest, for God's sake. This is unlawful. And all of you couples know this is unlawful.
That's an illegal arrest.
Speak up. This is an unlawful arrest. Shame on you.
Illegal arrest.
Shame.
Shame on you.
Fucking pig. What's your ground?
Shame.
You're telling me.
Shame on the police! Complicit!
Yeah, because we care about animals, we don't want them to
What
die.
keys are they though? Because we need to know which ones they are so we can hand them over.
Well,
Gemma, are you going to tell us?
it's on me, personally. Do you want us to give
This
your
is
keys to
assault. I
someone?
do not consent to anything that you're doing. This is assault.
Did you want them handed to someone or are you going to take them with you?
Are you?
Living in North Korea.
This is assault. You haven't told me what evidence you've got or what I've been suspected of doing. You've got the people are here filming because it's a protest. This is completely unlawful and I will sue you for this. What's your collar number? Get me the arresting room.
Yeah, it'll be on the custody record.
I've got her number.
Police oppression.
Don't be brought.
Please stop resisting. Stop resisting.
You're assaulting her. She's not resisting. You're assaulting her. You're fucked. You're all fucked. You should be ashamed. Fucking disgusting.
You're insulting him. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself.
Disgusting!
You anywhere near me.
Shameful!
You're disgusting. You
Police state. Absolute bullshit, whole lot of it.
This is unlawful. Tell me now what I'm suspected of doing.
What?
And what your
I don't
evidence is.
understand the delay here.
Tell me now what your evidence is. This is unlawful.
Got no evidence!
What is your evidence?
That's disgusting, man. That's
Disgusting. How can you sleep at night? The fuck? That's fucking assault. You're assaulting her. You get shame on you. Shame on you.
Police scum.
How can you
This is police oppression.
You're standing there watching it happen. Feel like a big man, do you?
Put your legs in the van now.
Absolute scumbags. Fucking lot of you.
If you're a decent officer with any integrity, do it, reprimanding these fucks that are assaulting her.
It's all on camera.
Police oppression.
You're pulling the top out.
Okay, so I don't think we sold you if you get this back on your own.
Don't need that many fucking old things on one person.
This is disgusting. Let's get you up.
You will not tell me the ground for arrest. This is illegal. She is unlawful innocent and you know it.
How would you react if someone drags you off the street without giving you a
Let's just do this. Let's leg strap her. Let's get her out. Let's strap her legs, and then we'll get her in the van. Strap her legs.
You're pulling
Here we
her
go.
top out. You're witnessing this. And you're disgusting. Look what you're fucking doing to me.
Let's strap her legs, ankles first.
How do you sleep at night?
Let's get her out. Let's get her fully out. Get her fully out.
You tell people that you're there for the good of the community.
bastards who you pay.
How do you justify what you do for a living?
Gemma, stop moving your legs. You're assaulting her. They won't tell me what they're arresting me for. I got no evidence. They're fascists.
Police harassment.
She is completely innocent and you know it.
Tell her what she's arresting you for.
They can't. They've not got the brain power. They don't know why they're arresting her.
I've got asthma, I've got fibromyalgia, you fucking bastard.
Strap her legs. Come on. We're actually under the van. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Now you're exposing her, you're lifting her closer deliberately and you're exposing her now. You're disgusting. This is a
Fucking scumbags.
My arms, you are really hurting me. You're going to get sued for this because I've done fuck all wrong and you know it. All the people that stood silently at the concentration camps, that's you, innit? You haven't got a voice.
I hope you feel fucking
You
ashamed.
haven't got the capacity to think for yourself of what's right and wrong. She
This is what you wanted to do in your life, feeling
is
tie them up by their legs and drag them into the back of your van.
fucking say something about it. That's fucking brutal.
I know, I can see it, I can see it. It's all on this camera, all on there.
Look at your face, mate. Your face. You know that. None of you are saying anything. You know that. That was a human concentration camp. Might still be out here. She's a fucking human being. Shame on you, you fucking bastard. You'll never shut me up. You fucking never shut me up. I tell you that now.
Who stood here protesting?
What has she been arrested for? No, what's she been arrested for? She's a public interest. Tell her. What's she been arrested for?
Feel proud of yourselves now, do you? Is that how you keep us safe? Is that how you keep us safe?
Assaulting people.
489. You said you were trying to keep us safe. Is that how you keep people safe?
Shame!
Shame on you. Fuck you! Look at your presence! You're not allowed to drag her like that! That is assault! That is illegal! You are breaking the law! You can break her fucking arm!
Standing by, let all this up like she can fight. What's wrong with you all? What a comment.
This is police harassment. This is abuse.
How you judge this? How you judge someone looks like they'll fight? Is that how you judge it? The same judgment you make a dog? What are you doing? No need for that!
We get fucking equipped. That's why they fucking get arrested.
Stand on the pavement, protest peacefully, thank you.
You are assaulting her. You are assaulting her. Are you aware of that? That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
We'll kill ourselves. What's the point of this?
You're supposed to protect people. You're supposed to protect. And you are the biggest criminals. We need protection from you. You're disgusting.
Police oppression. This is harassment at its worst.
Police are scum!
Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum! Police are scum!
Police are scum! Police are scum!
That's a young lady. What the fuck are you doing to that young woman?
I don't know, the arresting us took a bag off her back. I don't want it to be
You
left
guys are
in
proud.
her
You
bag.
go home, don't you? Like, oh yeah, we can make some big arrests. Big burly bloke.
Dragged in here by 5 police officers. What monsters.
Hope you're proud of yourself.
Yeah, do you feel like a man now? Yeah, do you feel important now you've assaulted a young lady?
Bunch of fucking bullies. Come sucking low life.
Personal bodyguard for animals.
I'm not moving it, but you are.
People out there getting stabbed.
Right, stop moving it. Justified.
You won't get into our bracket. You can travel on a bonus 500 yards.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Nothing better than a female police officer against her own.
She was just standing in the crowd.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they just
Just
attacked
walked
her.
into the crowd. Yeah, just grabbed her. Just around the one out of the crowd. But the police are keeping us safe, aren't they?
Oh goodness, yeah, I feel fairly safe.
Surprised I've not been arrested yet for having an offensive weapon.
Give it a chance.
Yeah.